What I would want you to know from mother, what I would want you to know as a mother, from a mother to a mother, is parenting is like the greatest gift that God has ever given anyone. From mother to mother. The first thing that really came to my mind was how much being a mother is a true gift from God. It says that children are a gift from God in the Word, but having them and raising them, it is truly, truly a gift. And when I got pregnant, I was 21 years old and I was still trying to resolve the relationship with my mother. So I was terrified of the kind of mother I would be, what kind of influence I would have over my child. Was I even ready? I remember having a conversation with God, like, I'm not even ready to be a mom. Like, I don't even know how to be a mom. And God asked me, well, what is it that a mom looks like to you? And I had to really think about what that was, right? Because I came to the table pregnant with all these ideas of what I wished my mom was, or what I wanted my mom. Like, every child has those thoughts. And I heard God very softly ask me, what is it that you want from your relationship with your children? And I heard children, and here I am, 21, pregnant with one. And I say, I just want to have a relationship with them when they're adults. I want to live long enough to see them graduate from college, but I also want them to be able to come over my house and have dinner with me, and go out to dinner with me and my husband, and have beautiful Christmases together and Thanksgivings and just because meals. That's what I really wanted. And I really wanted them to trust me. I really wanted my child to almost feel like I was their confidant. If there was a big decision to be made, I didn't want them to go ask their friends. And I remember asking God, what do I need to say to my kids to let them know that I'm the person that's going to give you the best knowledge and understanding of any situation that you're in. And here I'm 21 and I'm pregnant, and this is the thoughts that God had for me. He had me so far in the future with them. And it's like He told me, you need to build a strategy with them. So when you get to a place and you're so upset and you know that you're right, and they're wrong, you're going to have to figure out how are you going to discipline them with true love and understanding. And what He showed me was reasoning with them. He told me if I reason with my kids and not yell and scream and talk down and belittle them, that their behavior would change. Now, that was hard for me to grasp because I was raised in a time where, we were seen and not heard. So children, we didn't have a voice. I didn't quite understand what reasoning with my child meant. Like, they get to tell me how they feel and what they want. That was different for me. But with my first child, it was very difficult to get to that place. But once I saw when he was about 10 and I was able to sit with him and actually hear what he had to say, we were able to resolve, and things resolved quickly, and his behavior truly shifted. And I remember thinking, God, of all the things you've given me, this is the most important gift. This is the one I don't want to mess up. And this is the one, as a mother, you always feel like you're not getting it right. You don't quite have it all together because you don't get a child and then they come with a manual. And I read the word very clearly that children are a gift from God, not a child that's born from you, but a child that God has given you to raise. And God gave me 2 children to raise in love from my husband. And then he gave me 3 children that I birthed. And all these things applied. It didn't matter how I received a child. I had to reason with them. And the behavior would change. And he even let me be so in tune with my kids that when they next start doing this, and they're doing this, you said too much, or you've given too much information and their head is heavy, or they're arguing back with you in their mind. They're not hearing you. So that's why if you are at a place and you're going back and forth, you're just yelling at your kids. You're the leader. You're the boss. That's not going to get that child the help that he or she needs to become the leader that you are raising, because you're not giving them an opportunity to grow as a person in their thinking, in their minds, in their hearts, and in their spirit. So when you allow them to actually share what they're feeling or thinking, you'll have to lean to God, because each situation, each difficulty, each frustration is different. But if you truly tap into God, he will share with you the questions, the right questions to get the answer. And he will move their hearts to move and change the behavior. And trust me, this was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. But once I kind of got in that groove with the first one, I was able to do it with my stepkids. I was able to do it with my other 2 sons. And the things that I asked when they were pregnant, I was pregnant with TJ when I had this conversation, anointing my belly with oil because I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to ruin him. I wanted to have him in my life forever. I always wanted him to pick up my phone call. I always wanted him, I didn't ever want to worry, am I going to be able to see my grandkids because I didn't do something right as a parent? Because that comes back. They'll be like, I didn't trust you with me, so I'm not going to trust you with my children. And I knew that I didn't want that. And the only way I was going to get that is if I communicated regularly with God. And he gave me those steps. He told me that I'm going to need wisdom, and that before I disciplined them, I had to talk to him. And you know what that means? That he was going to discipline me first before I disciplined my kid for something that they did. So parenting was very uncomfortable for me, because there was always a flashback and a movie and a video of how I responded and how I reacted and the things that I did and the poor choices that I made. And then it gave me grace with my children versus I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm going to discipline you right now. I can see in my relationship with my 3 adult sons and my 2 adult stepkids that worked. His mindset around raising children and reasoning and actually listening to them worked. They call me whenever there's a major issue. I don't have to dig through and figure out what's going on with them. And when they are really, really afraid, God will give it to me in a dream, or he'll let me be unsettled and reach out to them, and they'll just have to tell me when I call. But that came from me going to him first. I have the relationship that I have with my children because in the beginning, when they were in my womb, I literally said, God, how am I going to do this? I cannot do this without you. These people that you put in my belly, I can't function or have the right, I'm not intelligent enough to raise them on my own. I need you. And he helped me. And the one gift that I can give to any mother is if you can get to a place that you can begin to reason with the child, not give them a voice that they can control you, but give them a voice to help understand why they made that poor decision, so you can actually help them not make that decision again. Because sometimes you'll discipline them and they'll keep getting in trouble for the same thing over and over and over again. So then we have to look at ourselves as parents. How are we going to change this for our child? It's not about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about what you want. You want this child to be able to be successful when you're not here. So you're going to have to let them grow in their mind and their heart and their spirit. And that means you're going to have to be vulnerable and humble before them. so that you can help them become and evolve into the person, the man, the woman of God that God created for them before the predestination of the world. God already had a plan for them. And we're in the plan. He gave them to us to raise. And so we have to continue to go to him. And that's what is in my heart. What he brought to me the most is how successful, how painful it was for me to give up my power and control and give into the vulnerability and really see anger and frustration for what it was, because I was just hurt that my child did something, and I was angry and I was frustrated. But if I could pull myself back to that place of hurt, then I could really deal with them on that level, because 1 or 2 sentences will change that child's life and trajectory versus your hour-long talk. Because they're already ready. They're like this, bracing themselves. Oh God, what is my mom, my dad gonna say? But if you come and you are hurt, and you don't let them see you angry, you let them see the real feeling that you're feeling, and you give them 1 or 2 sentences that are powerful and meaningful, not only will they get the message, but the behavior will shift. Because you have then, in that moment, given that child in that situation to God. Because as a parent, we feel like this is ours. This is my baby. I got to control this. I got to fix this. I got to protect this. And they're on loan. They don't belong to us. And the sooner you recognize that, the better your relationship with your child will be, the more peace you will have in your relationship with your child, and you will begin to see them develop and form into the man and woman God created them to be, even at 5, at 10, at 16. It's never too late to start this reasoning, because God is there and he knows your heart. He's reading your heart. He's reading their heart. And when you begin to reason with them, God knows you're giving up of yourself and your power and your control. And you're really giving it to God, saying, God, I'm trusting you with this child. I'm going to try and reason with them and be with me in this conversation. You will see there will be a shift and a change, and your relationship the fruit of that will last for years and years to come. I'm grateful that I did not try to take things into my own hands and lean into my own understanding, because now I have a 26-year-old, I have a 23-year-old, and I have an 18-year-old, and there's nothing they won't come and tell me. Granted, I don't always get the information the day it happens, but they always come and share with me. And that's really what I wanted. And if I call them, they answer. If I say, I want you to come to church, they'll come to church. Because I never usurped my authority, I always gave them the ability to choose. Granted, they had to choose from the options I had on the table. They always had a voice. And because of that, they know they have it now. And I will have it for the rest of my life, because I gave up what I thought a parent should be and gave in to what I knew God was telling me a parent was. And that was just to love unconditionally. I am Natasha Roberts. I am a daughter, I'm a wife, and I'm a mom. What I would want you to know from what I would want you to know as a mother, from a mother to a mother, is parenting is like the greatest gift that God has ever given anyone. From mother to mother.